So what up? I don't want to introduce myself and say hi to YouTube, but you guys already know it. We got the balance adjustment preview going on March 13th on Thursday, coming in 2 weeks from this video. I hope at least it's probably not gonna come out today. It's probably gonna be coming out like some other day, but you know, I'm just gonna say it now because then Kuurai's gonna edit this out. Kuurai's probably busy playing some other game, and he's too busy to put this out. But anyways, we can really just move on. We already see a lot of fucking buffs. This is actually probably one of the bigger patch notes that we actually seen so far. We got like some artifacts, we got some EEs, we got some okay, we even got an Axe God freaking hero remake. Alright, everything's looking kinda lit. Dude, and for long lost and now remembered, fucking Mascot Chloe is getting a buff. Thank God. Cecilia, Flan, Mercedes KW, Hazel, and fucking Researcher Karen. Okay, this is looking pretty dank. So, moving on with the first one, we see Mascot Chloe. She gets a finally, she gets a buff. It's actually looking kind of lit. So really going on, she got her S1 getting buffed, her S2, honestly her entire kit practically got a buff. So starting off with her S1, she now has an increased chance to stun, so more bullshit is, you just get like another 5% chance to bonk. But honestly, if it wasn't high enough before, it's really kind of cancer now. But not really. She now has kind of a, what you call, I like to call this the GP buff, right? Every single time I see combat readiness of all allies gets increased for some reason, it's a GP buff, okay? We call any kind of combat readiness of all allies a GP buff. This is a GP buff. So, when she attacks a stun target, she just boosted up the team, which is lit. And it's like, if she stuns and she gets a CR push, that's 50%. You can already tell that how bullshit the game's gonna be the moment you see a stun, and it's gonna be like, of course, bitch! You fucking, like, you can literally just, like, hear it across her head flying, and it's like, oh, shit. It's kind of doomed, right? And then afterwards, she get her S2 getting buffed, where she gets increased effect res. So this is, like, what, a Shamadras effect? And then she now heals 2 allies with the lowest HP. So, this one is kind of, I wouldn't say, like, this is, like, too particularly amazing. So before, she used to heal herself and the lowest ally HP, but now she actually heals, she selectively heals 2 different units instead of herself, even if she's full HP. I think this is actually a really neat buff. The fact that now she like, her healing was kind of immense before, especially if she was like a super fast unit or a unit that you can actually deal with immediately. If she was faster than most of your booster units, it was really hard for you to actually down Mascot Chloe to begin with. The fact that now she can actually selectively heal is a pretty good thing, right? She also gets increased healing. We don't really know how much. And now she also has one of the best buffs that I think that will make her very viable. She now dispels 2 debuffs on her S3. So, Mascot Chloe has always been really bad with dealing with debuffs. Like, when I say really bad, I meant really bad. She was forced to be on Wondrous Potion no matter what, even back in the days of Season 1 RTA. It was really hard for her to deal with debuffs. It was really hard for her to deal with provokes. Now, literally the fact that she dispels 2 debuffs from all allies before granting buffs is kind of nuts. I'm sorry, this alone will make her a very strong unit. This alone will turn her into some stupid god tier unit. Like, you can put her on like high effect res, you can put her on like practically anything else. This could also be like a better version of what I call DJB, if you guys really want to call it that way. Because then the fact that you have like an offensive unit that has like revive and attack buff, but also could just like just basically, I wouldn't say it's a full cleanse, but dispelling 2 is practically, may as well be considered as a full cleanse. I think it's a very big deal. I think her stats by far is probably usable enough where you guys can like build her a lot easier than DJB, because DJB has like a lot lower base stat. We can actually take a look at Mascot Chloe over here, and she's much tankier, except she has no effect res. That's kind of smudged though, but that's okay because then she has 20% over there. That's not bad. I personally think this is going to be a decent unit, right? At least she has better base stats. That's all that really matters here, right? Her defense is really high. Her HP is kind of eh. Her speed is really decent for a Soul Weaver because Soul Weavers don't really go very fast to begin with anyway. So I think this is gonna be pretty dang. She also has an effect res imprint over here too, so this really helps her if you guys actually have that. So all in all, I really think this is gonna make Chloe pretty viable. This is like probably one of the best changes for her. She might actually end up being like one of those better cleansers or better offensive units that you guys are looking for. So moving on, we got Cecilia getting buffed. So if I were to go over why Cecilia was not a great unit, it's primarily because then I don't think she had like a lot of threat to her name. So the biggest problem about Cecilia has always been primarily the fact that she doesn't do enough damage. Either she doesn't do enough damage, she doesn't control, and she doesn't really do anything outside of just her S30, and maybe once in a while, maybe her S1 or S2 gets super impactful. It doesn't really see too much light of day. So here, they just gave her, what? They gave her increased chance to defense break to 75% if there's attack break. I feel like this is kind of whatever. Like, this thing is probably not a very impactful buff. The next one is now her EE effect, where she dispels one buff before, she dispels a buff now. Before, what is it? Attacks before, what is it? She decreases attacks before she dispels. So she debuffs first, and I'm assuming dispel in terms of that order. Am I saying this correctly? With a 50% chance to debuff before dispelling one buff. Yes. So she debuffs first, then she dispels. So now she has that kind of effect on her S2. And then they change her EE effect to decrease speed of all enemies for 2 turns when using Steel Cloud Burst. So, I mean, she gets to do more debuffs. But I feel like, once again, this isn't what makes Cecilia very scary. I feel like outside of just her S2, her S3, it's really hard for you to actually get her going unless she has more to her name. The biggest problem with Cecilia has always been like, does she bring enough threat into the team, or is she just another bruiser unit that literally just sits there and debuff? I feel like if we're looking for units that just debuff nowadays, you may as well just use units like A-Tywin and stuff, because then A-Tywin would probably do better than what Cecilia actually does in terms of controlling. This thing isn't good enough. The main issue with Cecilia, her base stats are meh and needs lots of molas to barely function. I don't know about her base stats. I don't think her base stats are meh. I think more so that she needs a lot of molas to function because her entire kit is debuff oriented. And the fact that when a unit is debuff oriented, right, it becomes a problem because debuff oriented units require to have high amounts of mola, otherwise they can't do any debuffs at all, right? You just know it. If it's not 100% or it's not the highest possible percent chance, it's just not gonna work. And here I did invest into my Cecilia, and I can tell you that it's not a really great investment. Now that we know that her EE is getting changed, I wonder if she actually has like a better choice for her EEs. If we were to take a look at her EE options now, like her S2 EE is the one that got the major change, and before we got to see what? We get to see strip, but now we have a couple choices. We could either choose to do speed down, we could choose to do unhealable, or we could choose to do like, I guess, increased defense break, which is kind of useless because then it doesn't look, I really don't think Cecilia really, like, I don't really think her S1 really matters too much. I think it's okay at best, right? It's not anything amazing. I'm pretty sure everyone's really just gonna use the speed down instead of unhealable, because then, like, if you're gonna bring Cecilia into Soul Weavers, it's very likely that you're gonna lose anyway. That's a problem. I don't think Cecilia can be brought into Soul Weavers because then she doesn't do enough damage. I think speed down is like really the only debuff that you can really make her work. But all in all, I really don't think this is a good enough buff. I think Cecilia needed to do more damage than being a supportive unit. Because then she doesn't apply enough threat, or maybe her entire kit just feels like, it feels like a jumbled mess. It doesn't feel like it does enough in order to like make work. I can't really say too much about this. I feel for sure if Cecilia really wanted to work, she needs to have some way to actually boost herself more to control the team. Because then at this point, it looks like she's supposed to be a controlling unit, but she's not turning out to be that. This entire kit is a mess. The debuffs are all over the place. It's just not cohesive enough with her kit, and it's just too slow to work. And that's my problem with Cecilia. So moving next, we got Flan is getting buffed. Alright, listen, I'd toss a lot of fucking bookmarks into this because then she was fucking hella booba waifu. I was so upset when she became the most trash unit in the game. I don't understand. But now she gets her soul burn gets moved from her S1 to her S3. She now gets an extra turn, which is thank the fucking Lord that we get fucking this shit, right? We finally have Tywin. It is Tywin! This is Tywin. It's a better Tywin. This is exactly what Tywin is. In a sense, kinda. Right? Now, she also gets attack buff and crit damage buff. Hey, look. Look, guys. This is nuts. This is kinda nuts. It should have been at this from the start. I can't really say too much about this. Everything looks about right here, and everything looks pretty decent. She gets her extra turn. She gets to decrease. She gets to push back with combat readiness. Listen, because then this is not an attack skill. This thing is kind of nutty, right? That basically means that you could just ignore all the other shit besides like just going through immunity. This is still pretty decent. So now it's a lot easier for her to be used as a setup without her fucking flopping right afterwards. This is good. This is great. I like this buff for cleavers. Not for me though. I'm a bruiser player. I'm a bruiser. I'm a knight. Maybe once in a while I cleave, but yeah, but I can't really say too much about this. Sure. Better Tywin. Very nice. Alright, moving on, we got Mercedes. Well, what am I supposed to say about Mercedes? She does more damage, and then damage. That's all I see. Her S1 does more damage. Her S2 does more damage. Guys, this looks like a A13 or a or like a Lich Farmer. When I say Lich Farmer, what I mean is it's Earth Expo. It's Earth Expedition. Or just a farmer in general. Wait, this means that she's a Vivian, right? Okay, she becomes like a mini Vivian. That's what she is. You know what? I'm gonna build Mercedes as my ult. That's what I'm gonna do. She's an A13 unit. I'm down. I need an A13 unit. Very good. Alright, next up, we got Hazel. I mean, we're gonna look at Mascot Hazel. Okay, outside of knowing Hazel, number one is that she's a mono element unit, so mono element units typically suck and they don't really have good niches. Another thing about Hazel is that she's really only good for morale. So like, if you're a Hell Raid player and you love playing like all that other good shit, I use a team that gives me 48 morale that actually uses Mascot Hazel, and that's the only time I actually see her being used. So this is actually my team that I actually use for my Hell Raid. Vivian, CZ, A Ravi, and Mascot Hazel. This entire team gives me 48 morale. It's not bad, it's pretty dang. It works in almost every single fucking raid possible. I normally use this in normal raid, not Hell Raid. Actually, I don't use it in Hell Raid, I just use this in normal raid because normal raid just gives me like the most, right? It allows me to like pop everything off, get the most amount of like ancient coins as possible. So, I mean, if I were to really go over this now, she gets what? Dude, guys, I need to mute my music for this. Like, for real now. For real now? Smallgate? Why the fuck do you love making paragraphs for, like, skills, dude? Like, god damn it. Alright, so she has the soul treatment. As in, what I'm talking about is they're just adding more words to her kit. She has, like, the soul bad guy treatment where her entire kit becomes, like, a fucking essay or thesis. Like, she's trying to get out of university or like all the other shit or try to get that degree. But they just give her a shitload of stuff and I don't know what to say. So, really going on with this, she gets what? Increased combat readiness for 50%. Amount recovered is doubled on her S. What was this? Is this her S2? I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is her S2 or something. And then afterwards, we get her S3 also getting a buff where she dispels one debuff. Sure. Nice. That's okay. That basically means I don't need to use Wondrous Potion anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I still need to use Wondrous Potion for like Hell Raid. I can't really say much more than that. When using urgent regen, which is her S2, if the target's a fire elemental hero, it has a 100% chance. Okay, listen. I use her for Hell Raid. My entire team doesn't look fire, so irrelevant. But I don't know. Maybe for golem farming, I guess. When using urgent regen, if all allies are fire. Okay, you know what? I hate these mono element crap. This thing is garbage. It should feel garbage. It doesn't feel good. Get me out. This thing isn't great, okay? Fuck off with the mono element crap, okay? Remove it. It shouldn't exist. It should never exist. Get it out, dude. It's just not good. It's not healthy. Okay, I want to say it's not healthy for the game, but it's more like new players will never use or spend time trying to work on a 3-star SC no matter what. At least the people that would watch this video or be on Reddit or on I don't know about Discord, or I don't know about those other casual groups where people actually hang out and shit, or like not even on the Twitch community. No one will use mono element crap or shitty fucking SCs like Rima and other crap unless you're playing a meme and you just want to do it for collection Pokemon's sake, okay? You want to 100% your Pokedex, okay? You will never ever use this shit, okay? Every new player is gonna be looking at one thing and one thing only: how did I get 5 stars? How did I get 5 stars? Will my 4-star be good? They're not gonna be looking at some free-to-play bullshit. Never. This game already gives you enough units, or like, it gives you so much incentive to actually just pull on a 5-star banner, either by luck or not by luck, or like you get shafted, or you have to get pitied, or something like that. You will never ever care about mono elements in this game. Ever! Never ever! You just don't! It just don't! It just doesn't happen! Right? It's like, if you're gonna use something like this, you may as well use Kuurai or ARAS, and then your life would be so much easier out there. Right? So therefore, mono elements are dog shit. They're just not good enough. There's enough 4 or 5-star units out there that literally just like makes all their uses literally irrelevant unless you're planning to use them for like some cheeky shit, such as like Hell Raid morale team. That's like the only reason why you would actually use like units like this. Besides that, they're too niche. You're never going to see them used anywhere else. And no one in their right mind would actually use a different Soul Weaver other than Tamarin in the first place. So, why do we care about like SC units like these? It just doesn't happen. I'm going to tell you right now, this is bad design. If you're planning to let if you want people to actually use these units, then it can't be like this, right? You can't keep the niche in like one area unless that's the goal. Right? I just don't think this is good enough. That is my complaint. Right? So, moving on, I'm gonna turn on the music again. We go on to research a carrot. I'm not gonna really read her first one. I'm just gonna read straight to her SC. Her SC, she now detonates. It's not RNG. It's no longer RNG. What a great buff. That's cheeky. I like that. I like that a lot. So, and then she gets a S2 buff. Is that an S2 buff, or they just reworded it and just shoved it inside the thing? It always had a cooldown at 1 turn. Right? Can only be activated once per turn. No. No. This is a buff. Okay, so let's reiterate or clarify this, okay? So, her S1 gets detonate now after she after attack lands, and then it's like the end thing. And then afterwards, her barrier effect can only be activated once, but it does not include the burn the attacker. So, if you keep on trying to spank Carrot, she spank you back with a burn because it no longer has a cooldown. The cooldown before here used to be a one-time thing. Now she gets a burn all the time. That's not bad. I like that. That basically means I just build her high attack and then I just blast burn you the entire time. I just butt burn you, okay? That's not bad. And now she has what? She has Dispel, 1 buff before. Okay. Her S3 gets a strip. I like that. Okay? Wait. That is her S3, right? Yeah. So she gets an S3 that dispels now, which is lit. And she also has like a soul burn extra turn, which is also lit. That's a lot of burns, bro. She even gets an increased attack by like a large percentage. This is like a 13% increased attack. It's looking kind of lit. Dude, this is hella lit. All right. After using Flame Spirit, after 100% chance to grant, she even gets healing! Oh! Okay, listen. This is a good buff. It's pretty good. It's fire. Dude, she gets a fat barrier along with continuous healing. Basically means she can't die. Oh, dude, it's fucking sick. And then she has a 100% chance to burn now. Lit. See, this is what SBA should be. Right? After being attacked, if the caster's debuff has 100%, whoo! She turns into a T-Surin! Guys, this is what I call a T-Surin buff. Like, what I'm saying here is that Carrot is actually going to be a good unit now in a lot of cheeky situations, especially even versus like units like Landy, for example. Because then she has like AoE and a strip and all that other good shit, but also for the fact that if she gets attacked, she also gets dealt with like, she sends them burn and all that other stuff. And the fact that she can also cleanse one debuff on the caster every single fucking turn after being attacked, that is lit! Dude! Like, that basically means that you just build her as a high attack debuff unit with tanky stats. If you could probably make her tanky, because then 3-star base stats are kind of dog shit. But I can tell you right now, Carrot's gonna be one of those super respectable units now, because then we needed a unit that are something like this that could also be beef, right? We wanted beef. We always love beef, dude. You guys already know this thing is like seared both sides, fucking caramelized. Woo, dude! Honestly, it doesn't even sound right. But listen, high defense unit, build her with high defense. Make sure you utilize her barrier, right? I don't know how big her barrier kind of gets, but I remember this barrier was chunky, okay? She get higher attack, she get all that good shit, and then next thing you know, she could fucking butt burn you the entire time. Listen, this is a 3-turn cooldown. It's short as fuck. She literally strips you and burns you every single fucking time, then detonate you. You just die, okay? This is great. This is a great buff. I like this buff. This buff is good, right? It is nice. I'm building her. She's a free 3-star unit too. This is what I want right here. This is what I call a good SC buff, right? And then moving on. Oh, no. We also got remake. I don't know about remake, but he turned into, well, so to really simplify this for you, they turned him somewhat into a knight. Is that it? Okay, listen, chat. Okay, chat, listen. I think this is Mort 2.0. No cap. This is like Mort revision. Right? It's like a warrior given a knight kit kind of thing, right? So, turn off the music. We gotta read this, alright? So, before he used to bleed on his S1 on crit. Now he has a provoke. And he now scales on max HP. So now you don't build him on high attack anymore. You just give him fat HP. Wow. HP scaling unit. I fucking love HP scaling units. Thank you, game. I feel so good about it. Alright, anyways. After attacking enemies, what is this? After attacks all enemies with the shockwave before granting immunity for the caster for 1 turn. Damage increase, put more HP scaling. Cool. And now he has skill cooldown is decreased by 2 turns. So instead of actually increased damage, he has this. Which is cool, I guess. I mean, I don't even know what his cooldown was on his S2? But, oh, okay, you know what? It's not even that long. It's like 3 turns. It's actually not bad. 3 turns. Okay, it's pretty short cooldown. Okay, basically, you could, like, spam this thing forever, and then you could just AoE forever. It looks kind of lit. Okay. And then afterwards, when enemy gets defeated, so nothing really much changed about his S3. The only difference is that he just gets more extra turns. So it looks like he just gets like turn after turn after turn and reset. And then he got extra fat. Yeah. So he got an increase of what? This is 20% now. He now gets to gain another 5%, and then he gains another 15% defense on top of that. So Trish, so X God, or so we call him in the past, was a sicko really pro gamer move. He was originated from our raccoon boy called Class Boso. And he basically made Axe God like a thing. And he was actually so good that he became one of the strongest units to actually pop the fuck out, other than like the super early 3-star units like I think it was Kuurai, or like, you know, the Holy Trinity of Ricorous and other stuff. So like he was a really strong unit back in the day. But then he got outclassed so fast that he no longer became useful, because then he just doesn't do enough damage anymore. Because, you know, gear came along, it fucking slapped everything, it power crept everything, it made Luna useless, and then here you go. You get Axe God, which thought to be the savior of everything, and then more 5-stars came out, and then he became garbage. It's a fucking smooch. So he became a lot tankier with another 5%, so we could be assuming that he might be having like maybe a 5k base. And then he could also be having like a nice chunk of defense this time with another 15%, putting him around like a 600 base. This is actually could be like one of the better changes for him. He also really has high base attack, so we don't know how much this affects his attack scaling. It's very possible that he could still be doing a lot of damage on high attack gear. But you know, if he scales on HP now, it could be just be better for him to be like a unit where it's closer to what GP is and just build him a high HP depending on where it is. Right? Units that are normally with high attack scaling with high HP is typically kind of D's, and by that, GP, smile. So we see it here. When attacking a light elemental unit with Vigorous Strike, which is his S3, he penetrates 40% defense, which is nice. I like that. He becomes like a dark version of LQC. When attacking a light elemental with Disconnect, increased provoke chance, okay, to 100%, right? From 75 to 100. That's nice. And then after using Attack Chain, has a 50% chance to extend the duration of any immunity buff granted to caster by 1 turn. Okay, so I mean, if we were to really look at this, Axe God had infinite immunity. That's pretty cool. Okay. And when using Attack Chain, inflict injury on the target. The severity of injuries increases proportional to damage dealt. Injuries decrease max health by up to 10% every time this goes. So this thing could only be decreasing HP by 10%. So what we're expecting here is he needs to do a lot of damage in order to apply injury. If he doesn't do a lot of damage, then injury kind of sucks. Yeah? And then afterwards, I really don't think like these are like the more notable ones. The most notable one was probably gonna be, I call it the G-Purgus effect. Increase combat readiness of all allies by 10% after being attacked by a light elemental hero. I love fucking G-Purg effect. So, it's he can counter G-Purg. Wow, how'd you know? So, all I can really say here is that they now introduced another way to make a G-Purg, but not exactly G-Purg. But you may as well consider it BG-Purg, yeah? They start realizing that they're just shoving it down to like every single fucking unit there is in the game. There is fucking, first there was Make Chloe that we saw in the beginning of the patch note, and then we see, or balance patch I mean. And afterwards we get to see Axe God also receiving the same effect. I'm telling you, G-Purg is gonna now exist in every single fucking unit's kit. It's kind of funny. It looks like he's planning to counter the Golden Boys and other stuff with infinite immunity and all the other whatnot. Listen, 8-Time was never a good unit. I'm just kidding. He's a broken unit. But he's not too broken because immunity is a thing, you know? So, you know, this is kind of lit. It's not bad. I think it's good. This is going to be pretty cool, right? He also gets, after being attacked, he gets more attack. So we can actually tell that he's probably going to get like a lot of damage. There's no way that he doesn't get enough damage when he gets stacked like this, right? The more he gets stacked, it gets kind of nutty, right? So I think so far we see some of the SE units become very good except for Mascot Hazel, because fuck Mascot Hazel, right? Mono element unit garbage just used for hell rate kind of shit, right? Really? I mean, this entire patch notes, out of all the notable units, I think is going to be really good. Make Chloe is going to be insane. Flan might actually be a really nice unit. Cecilia feels like another niche unit that really doesn't really fucking matter. Mercedes is gonna be a really good unit for like free-to-play players. So you guys either choose to play either Mercedes or Free Spiriteria. You take your pick, you take your call. Although Free Spiriteria starts at plus 15, so she might still be the better unit. Hazel kind of sucks still because then mono element isn't really that great. And then you guys got Researcher Carrot, which I feel like is probably going to be like a really fun unit to play with. And then we have Axe God, which ends up being a light unit counter, which is not bad, right? He turns to HP scaling. He turns into another unit that now applies injury. So now we have another Mort, or so we call it, right? A knight's kit into a warrior's warrior unit, I guess, is so what we call it, because then warriors are pseudo knights anyway. And then of course we get the EE change where I kind of mentioned it a little bit early that Cecilia's EE is getting the speed buff change, speed debuff change, where they also include that. So moving on, we got the artifacts also getting buffed as well. First off, we start out with Bloody Rose. She now applies Vampiric Touch on a single attack. Okay, that's lit. I don't remember what Vampiric Touch did. I'm pretty sure it's more like, if you touch a unit with this debuff, you heal. Kind of thing. Sure, I guess. Sure, I guess. It's a magic artifact. Increase effectiveness. Vampiric Touch. It's not exactly lifesteal because then you have to hit the unit that gets affected by Vampiric Touch. I don't know if this is a... I think this is a PvE kind of shit. Yeah, it might be a, So, Bloody Rose looks like one of those things where you would use for, Luluka. Yes. You can use it for Luluka. You can use it for, like, PvE content. I don't know about Solitaria because then the only time that she really applies it, like, you're really betting on the fact that she's gonna land it at a 50% rate. That's probably never gonna happen, right? I personally think this might be one of those artifacts that you might be using a lot in PvE, because then Vampiric Touch could be like one of those life-saving artifacts that kind of helps you with your healing if you lack it. And I don't really think it's half bad. So, sure. Okay, sure. It's a nice buff. And then next we got like Border Coin, where it gets, after using a non-attack skill, increased attack. So, the Sirmia artifact. I can't really say too much about the Sirmia artifact because then the way that, so there's two choices when it comes down to warrior artifacts, right? Or three choices. They're either Sigurds for your lifesteal or like to gain your health back. There is Hellcutter if you don't lack a lot of crit. If you lack crit and you want like a very high crit with like high attack in order to make up for it. And then there's also now Border Coin. Now, the thing about Border Coin is that it's a very niche artifact. There's not too many warrior units that would actually use this besides like maybe Sirmia herself and like maybe a couple others, but I don't really see a lot of warriors to really name a few. I mean, if we were to really take a look at this, let's take a look at all the units that really do a non-attack skill, yeah? No, Sirmia's yes. Then no. Honestly, what the fuck, bro? It's like, it's like literally only one 5-star warrior that actually kind of does it. I think everything else is practically like, hello? What? What? Did I just put this on like Kawana or something? Alright, so there's Dingo that you can actually use it on. Now we go down to the 4 stars. We have Dingo, and then we get... Does Kawasu do it? I don't know. Kitty Clarissa is kind of a cap. GP can't use it. Kawana can use it. And... I mean, Axcott can't use it. Helga could use it. I mean, Rickrus can use it. Okay, you know what? These are just weird. These are just weird shit. I mean, this looks like best in slot artifact for Kawana for your like C13, for your like Katie's or something. Katie's 13 so that she can get increased attack and like increased speed or some weird shit. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's gonna be really hard for people to fight over Hellcutter, because Hellcutter and Sigurd is actually considered to be one of the best artifacts for warriors already. Hellcutter being really strong because crit chance is actually very hard to come across, and it becomes one of those very, very scary things because then this thing infinite stacks. So like it doesn't really feel too bad to actually use it. Cigarettes being one of the most OP fucking warrior artifacts that exists in this entire fucking game. Because, you know, healing with damage dealt is pretty fat, right? At 50%, any unit will most of the time full heal for 50% if they're on cigarettes. Besides like Draco Plate. But I feel like it's really hard for people to really choose between Hell Cutter or Border Coin. I think Hell Cutter would still be like the better artifact unless you have a Sermia that's kind of deezed out and you don't mind having the Border Coin anyway, right? But this is kind of niche. I think it's still okay. It's not a very impactful buff, but it's usable nonetheless, right? If you have the gear. And afterwards, we get the Ambrosi. So the forgotten artifact that came out in 2018 or something. I don't really remember. It just get Ranon's memorandum effect, where it just get like 2-speed. I mean, whatever. It's whatever. I don't think there's really anything amazing about the artifacts. Like, this looks like PvE. This looks like maybe PvE. Maybe we give it a hit of PvP. You know, and then we get over here. It's like, you know, I don't know. I can't really say too much about this because then there's not too many units that use Bloody Rose over Tog Hells anyway. So like this to me is a PvE artifact. Honestly, I think the notes are fine. All the other buffs are like kind of like cap. But I think there are some units that are very scary in this entire patch. So, I think I already mentioned it like multiple times, but let's rewind. Make Chloe really insane because now she actually has cleanse. It's the most impactful thing that was included into her buff, into making her viable. That was one of her weaknesses before. Cecilia is not a very, very strong unit because then still debuffs from her. Her entire kit is just a jumbled mess. She doesn't move very well, and she only has one way to really control down a team. If you were to use Cecilia, you may as well just find like a way to get like a Tywin or maybe just Prage. I wouldn't ever recommend to build Cecilia because then she does not apply enough threat in your team in order to be viable. And then you got Flan. Flan is, okay, she now turns herself into a Tywin, which is what we asked for before. Great. That's good, right? We get Mercedes. Another option instead of free Spiriteria, if you like her as a waifu or you mistakenly buff her, build her. I can't really say that she's amazing or anything because it's still really hard for you to actually use. You still have to put the idea, like, put the thought behind your head that you still have to use Molos for her, so she's not really that great. Mascot Hazel, PvE unit, Researcher Carrot, cheeky unit. I like that. I like cheeky units. And then you get Axe God. Good unit. Yeah? I think all in all, Make Chloe, Researcher Carrot, and Axe God is probably one of my, it's gonna be my top 3 for this balance patch. Everything else is good and stated. So, but that said, I mean, I'm done with this video, done with the recording. Thank you very much for watching. You guys can share your opinions down below in the comments, and then I'll try to respond as I can. Don't ask me too many other questions because then I won't reply to them. Smile. Otherwise, you guys can just remember, join me on my Discord with the link below, or you guys can hop on Twitch whenever I'm live to ask questions there. Most of the time I will flame your ass, but if not, smile.